Hello everyone! As promised a few weeks ago, here is a review of the 1979 adaptation of Dracula. Heads up, there will be some minor spoilers in this video. Directed by John Badham, this adaptation of Dracula stars Frank Langella as the Count, Laurence Olivier as Van Helsing, Donald Pleasence as Dr. Seward, and Kate Nelligan as Lucy. It's based partly on the original Bram Stoker novel and partly on a revival of the Hamilton Dean John L. Balderston play, the same play on which the 1931 Todd Browning film was based. It goes back and forth between favoring the play and favoring the novel, and sometimes it favors neither and just does its own thing. It omits the beginning section at Dracula's castle in Transylvania, instead starting with a dramatic shipwreck sequence. From there, it follows the same general structure as the 31 film, but many scenes are played out very differently than they were in that version. There are also several elements from the book that are included here that were not in the 31 version and are often left out of other Dracula adaptations. This version includes both Jonathan Harker and Renfield, and they are playing their characters the way they're supposed to. Instead, it's Lucy and Mina who inexplicably have their identities reversed, and to add further confusion, Mina, the Lucy character, is now Van Helsing's daughter, and Lucy, the Mina character, is now Dr. Seward's daughter. That doesn't make it confusing at all. Frank Langella, like Bela Lugosi decades before, had a successful stage run as the Count before immortalizing his performance on film. Like Lugosi, he wears no fangs. Unlike Lugosi, he has no distinctive accent. His Dracula tends to speak calmly, almost soothingly, even when he's subjugating another's will or making threats. He's got his own peculiar kind of charm, and delivers some of his lines quite humorously. When he first walks in a room, you might think, oh, he seems nice. One unique feature about this Dracula is that Langella has nystagmus, a condition that makes his eyes move involuntarily. This physical feature, which might have been a detriment, actually works in his favor, I think, increasing the uncanny quality of Dracula's hypnotic gaze. As his nemesis, Professor Van Helsing, Laurence Olivier is okay. His Dutch accent is a little sketchy, and as for the character, it's surprising to me how long it takes him to catch on to the fact there's a vampire running amok. I know the circumstances of his arrival are different in this version, but this is Van Helsing, you know? He's supposed to pick up on these things right away. Donald Pleasence was offered the role of Van Helsing, but turned it down, feeling it was too similar to his role in Halloween the year before. Instead, he took the role of Dr. Seward, who, quite frankly, I don't think is much of a doctor. He even mumbles at one point, "It's been so long since I practiced real medicine." Pleasence provides a lot of the humor in the movie, some of it possibly unintentional. He's almost always eating something and offering his snacks to his companions. He repeats random words and tuts around. He's a very quirky character. This is definitely one of the more romantic adaptations of Dracula, one of its primary focuses being the development of the relationship between Dracula and Lucy. And remember, Lucy is Mina, the Mina character in the book. Kate Nelligan's Lucy is a modern, strong-minded, independent woman. She's unfazed by the madness in her father's sanitarium. She likes to be scared. She loves the nighttime. She thinks it's exciting. Is it any wonder she and Dracula are drawn to each other? I rather like the relationship between Dracula and Lucy. It's not just that he's way more interesting than her blah sort of fiancé Jonathan Harker. It feels natural. I don't think she's attracted merely because of the power he may or may not be exerting to draw her in. Their scenes together, especially the ones at Carfax Abbey, have some enjoyable chemistry. Dracula's behavior doesn't strike me as predatory or threatening, though he does say some enigmatic things and kind of warn her off. He seems pleasantly surprised, even delighted at how she responds to him. He actually has to insist that she go home, and that's after he's passed up the opportunity to bite her neck and apologized for intruding on her life. How considerate! There is a bit of controversy surrounding this film, something that its fans like to discuss, and that is its coloring. The original theatrical release and televised version had rich, vibrant colors, but as you can see, none of these pictures that I'm showing you have rich, vibrant colors. That version has become very difficult to find because in 1991, before the movie was re-released on Laserdisc, John Badham altered the color timing. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't totally know what altering the color timing means. Maybe one of you can explain it further in the comments section. That gave the movie this desaturated look. I'm not sure how I feel about the desaturation. In a way, it's interesting. The sepia tone gives it a vintage feel, and one could argue that, like Dracula's victims, the picture now has a drained look. That's kinda cool, but I would like to see the original version. These washed-out earth tones get a little dreary. Even a sunny day looks cloudy and bleak. Not every image in the film, though, is like this. There are a couple of very artsy sequences with unusually bright pops of color. One such sequence is the psychedelic love scene. I can't not talk about this. It's the strangest 3 minutes in the whole film. So, Dracula shows up in this floofy shirt looking like he belongs on the cover of a romance novel, and everything's all seductive and, and then he bites her, and everything turns red. It's like the camera has been doused with blood or something, and I have no idea what's going on. There's a sun, or maybe it's a really bright moon, and silhouettes, and arms, and random rear projections, and the humongous bat. I don't even know what to make of this scene. It happens, and then everything goes back to normal. It's trippy, to say the least, but the music in this scene, oh my goodness, I love it. I love the whole score. It's a John Williams score, one of his lesser-known compositions, but still one of my favorite, not just one of my favorite John Williams scores, but one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. I actually own it. It's a pricey soundtrack. The CD, I believe, is out of print, has been out of print for some time, so it does cost some money to get this, but I think it's well worth it. I've listened to it many, many times. The music is very lively, it has an urgency to it, and the dominant theme is a soaring, haunting melody that conveys both fear and longing. I love the way Williams gives the entire orchestra something to do. Every section in the orchestra has a chance to shine. The only downside with that is that when I try to sing along and sing all the parts, I sound ridiculous, but I don't care, I love it anyway. Now, there are some funny things about the movie that always strike me as being a little off. There are some bizarre jump cuts, some lines of dialogue that don't have the most natural flow. It plays fast and loose with vampire lore. For example, is Dracula affected by the crucifix or not? He doesn't like it when Lucy wears a cross necklace, but it doesn't make him run away screaming either. He's even somehow able to enter a cemetery full of big cross grave markers. Still, he does shy away when confronted with a crucifix in his face, so this whole thing is inconsistent. A couple other weird things. I guess Dracula can be out in the daytime now as long as he hides in the shadows. Also, apparently it's not enough just to stake a vampire, you actually have to remove its heart. Not sure what that's all about. By the way, as you've probably guessed, this movie is rated R. It's not massively violent, but it does have some stuff. In spite of some things that make me scratch my head in confusion or giggle, or maybe because of those things, I do have a good time watching this movie. It's become kind of a guilty pleasure for me. I enjoy the performances, some of the special effects are very good, and of course, the music alone is enough to make me happy. In case anyone's wondering, I am not doing a Dracula review series. I've got enough series going on right now, and I'm not interested in watching all the Dracula films, but I thought it would be fun to talk about this one because, well, I had a lot of thoughts on it. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see you again next time. Thanks for watching!